Hey everyone, I'm Jace McCormick, and welcome back to the MSL Podcast. Today we have a special guest. She served as the graphic design coordinator. It is now currently the Vice President of the McCormick Student Leaders. So please welcome Lindsay Harrington.
Thank you. Wow, that was a really good intro.
I know, PA voice right there.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, you could be coming for my job, low-key, a little bit.
I'm good. That's all you.
Okay, cool. I'll keep my job then.
Yeah. Speaking of your job, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, like what you've done at college, just in general, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. Well, my name, as he already said, is Lindsay Harrington. I'm a junior sport management marketing double major at UMass Amherst, and currently vice president of MSL. Started out as a regular, just a general member, then became graphic design chair. Now serving as vice president. I'm also currently a marketing and fan experience intern with UMass Athletics, which I've been doing. This is my third year now, which is very exciting. Started as a freshman, so I've really enjoyed getting to do that. And last summer, I was a marketing manager for a USL2 and USLW club in New Jersey called Morse Elite Soccer Club.
Wow. For your marketing internship, was that first or second semester freshman year?
First semester in October. It was honestly,
wow. I didn't know that.
It was honestly a crazy story. I happened to be going to, we had like they do tabling, like for when kids come, like for move-in and stuff, like all the time, like outside of.
I don't remember that.
Okay. But outside the UMass store, they happened to have a table promoting sports. And I noticed they were handing out stuff. So my mom and I walked up to it. And I was like, oh, cool, let me grab a magnet and stuff. And the lady was like, oh, you must be interested in sports. It seems like you're really interested. I was like, yeah, I'm actually a sport management major. She's like, well, I'm actually the director of marketing and fan experience at UMass. Like, if you would like an interview, like, here's my email, and email me and let me know if you're interested.
Wow.
So I emailed her and I had an interview and I had the job by October of my freshman year. So honestly, some luck played into that, but I'm very fortunate I've gotten to do it for this long.
I was going to say, because I didn't get an internship until my sophomore year, which was also marketing and fan experience.
Yes, marketing and fan experience where it's at.
So, your PA.
Yes.
Just brought it up.
Yeah.
That's something you've done a lot this semester specifically. Can
Yes.
you go a little more detail into that?
Yeah. So this year is where we started having official PA interns. We hadn't had that before. It usually was kind of just like if you randomly got signed up for it, you could get to do it. I started doing it last year during about the spring. Spring of my freshman year was when I started. I got my first ever gig because somebody needed a sub. Emma Ryan, who's our in-arena host, was like, hey, I need a sub. Do you want to do it? I was like, yeah, sure. I did my first ever softball game and I kind of got hooked and really loved it. So I kind of just kept getting jobs. And this year I became the official PA announcer for our men's soccer team. So I really gotten to enjoy that, getting close with the team and kind of knowing all their names and numbers very much off the top of my head. And getting to do goal screams, which are really fun and usually end up in all of the social media videos, which I send to all my friends all the time when they get done. So yeah, I really love it a lot. I've always liked the idea of like broadcasting and even podcasting. I had my own podcast back in the day. So I've always kind of liked talking and being on the mic, but I didn't kind of want to be like front facing on camera. So getting to do PA announcing where I'm still getting to talk and be like an official voice of the team without having people really know who I am was very intriguing to me. So,
or like a good first step, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's been really fun. I could definitely see myself doing it as a future career. I'm not exactly sure, but I've enjoyed it a lot so far as my time here, and I've kept doing it. So
yeah. All right. So I'll start with the classic. I think it's the classic MSL Podcast icebreaker at this point.
Yes. When I saw the script, I was like, this better be on the script.
What is your favorite dining hall here at UMass?
I'm definitely not going to go with the crazy take. I got to go with Berkshire Dining Hall. Burke, my favorite.
There we go.
I know I love Burke so much. Burke lunch is my favorite. I love going to the deli, getting my sub roll with turkey and cheese, even sometimes a Kaiser roll if I'm feeling crazy with my sweet potato fries and then get a brownie afterwards. Like I got my meal and I used to love it. I lived in Southwest for 2 years. And last year I lived in Washington, which is literally right next to Burke. So I enjoyed many of meals there and I miss it. I miss Burke. I truly do miss Burke. So I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I think everybody, I think only one person on this podcast has not said Burke yet.
What'd they say?
Ham.
Okay, that's it's like Worcester's like the lowest.
I don't think anybody's even mentioned Worcester. I mean, I think Ari already mentioned it because his predictions like was just gonna become like the big like dining hall in the future that like everybody likes.
I doubt that ever
I don't know
happening.
about it, but
I honestly truly doubt that. I don't see that ever happening. But Worcester's like good for when you're busy at classes because it's like kind of right in the middle of campus. Like it's on my way to Eisenberg. Like I see it a lot. I just don't want to go inside of it often. So it kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. But usually, no, that's not what I'm in the mood for.
I've not been in Worcester since my opening or like first weekend freshman year. One thing I've actually been doing is going to Frank more often actually.
Really?
Before this year, I went once my freshman year with Brendan. And it was because it was like sport management night, and he just wanted to grab food, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to Frank," and I'm like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah.
But actually, Evan was telling me about the stir fry at Frank and
Your
how
favorite.
it's my favorite. I get it anytime I'm in Burke or Hamp. It's always stir fry. But he told me that they make it differently in Frank.
They do.
And they do.
Really?
And it's kind of good. I can't lie.
Okay. I haven't had stir fry in so long because I don't go to dining halls anymore because I don't have a plan anymore, which is like really depressing. But I do miss it a little bit. Not a lot of it. I don't like cooking. So as I've made it very clear to all my friends, I'm not a chef by any means. So I do miss having meals just like prepared right in front of me. And I enjoyed that a lot. Buffet style, nothing better. So
fair. Less effort.
Way less effort.
So I got like the lowest plan, and it gets me like, I did the math before the semester. Like if I went to the dining hall at most 3 times a week, like I'd have enough to get me through the whole semester. And I've completely like underused it so far. It's just because one thing is like, I've actually been kind of good at cooking. I can't lie.
I know. You're always like
chefing it up in my kitchen.
Oh yeah, all your spaghetti meals. Like you're always like set. You got your chicken.
Yeah, I got chicken.
I hear about some of the meals sometimes in class. So
fair.
We do miss the chicken fingers and fries though in M304. Those are missed.
I'll never forget because I think it was finals week last semester.
Yes,
finals Professor week. Musk came in here.
Yeah, we were studying for a sport law exam, right? Yeah.
And asked me where were my chicken fingers because I always got them every Tuesday.
It's iconic. It's
every time in my office hours.
It's honestly just become part of your brand. I feel like.
I don't think you can see it on the camera, but we have a tally.
Oh
on the
no,
top.
It's too high. But we have
too
a tally.
high up, but we have a tally of every time I've gotten chicken fingers and fries.
They can see
semester.
it in your camera, but
I guess they can.
Not in the big camera, so it's okay.
I'll get like a screenshot of that or something. Put it on the screen. There's just 3 tallies up there.
Way less compared to last semester.
Yeah. 3 tallies up there. No label, no nothing.
I think last semester we probably got to that point by week 1. I would say for
all right, let's chill.
Week 2.
Week 2.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Next question. What made you run for vice president of MSL?
Honestly, that's a really good question. A lot of people have asked me that, and I never really know what to say. I have a lot of different answers, but one of the biggest things was honestly when I was planning on running last year, I was planning on just running for marketing because I'd figured a junior going to become a senior was going to apply to be vice president. That's just always how it's been, and like that's always what everybody's known. But I found out that no juniors were running for vice president. I was like, oh, I think this might be my opportunity to potentially be vice president. I mean, if nobody else is interested. And I kind of knew I either wanted to be vice president or president by the time I was going to be a junior going into my senior year. So I was like, no time like the president, might as well try. So I applied for vice president in marketing, ended up winning vice president. And I've always just really enjoyed the idea of like females being on our executive board. Like I had really good mentors with Gianna and Allie being the year before. And they really pushed me they really made me believe like I could do it. So I really trusted them and was like, we're going to try. And I'm very grateful I did. It's honestly been one of the best decisions I've ever made. So
pretty successful stint so far.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So going back to when you were marketing chair last year, or graphic design chair, I should say, marketing seat work. What kind of goes into your mind when you are making like graphics for MSL? Because I mean, you made a lot, like even the logo for this podcast.
I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like I deserve a real shout out for that. I won the contest to make the logo for this podcast. I think it's still pretty good. You still use it, so
yeah, still use it.
Yeah. You haven't changed it yet, so I'll take that as a win. But when I'm making a marketing graphic, my brain's very much into formatting. I would say that's probably my biggest strong suit is formatting. Like literally yesterday, my sister texted me and was like, "Hey, I need help making a Canva design. Can you help me just with formatting?" Like that's usually one of my biggest strengths. So I usually always think of what's the most important thing on the page. Usually like a title should be big. I'm also very big on fonts. I like when fonts are honestly all the same for one thing. Just because it makes it easier to read. Like colors are very important, like no more than usually like 2 colors for something. So I usually try to think, especially for marketing, because if somebody's on Instagram and seeing it, will they stop and look at it? Like, is this eye-catching? Is it something that's worth somebody's while? Do they understand what they're reading? So I try to think of all those things when I design something. So
it's better than my creative design. I just make something in Canva. I'm like, yeah, that looks good.
No, yeah, I think it's different what you're designing for. Like
Fair.
when I'm doing, a PowerPoint for a project, like that's very different from when I'm making a marketing graphic for MSL like I used to. So I think every design kind of has different things I think about personally in my head of what I'm trying to accomplish. But usually those are the biggest things I think about, or what am I trying to accomplish? And does this look good? Those are usually the 2 biggest things I think about.
It's good to see the creative process. Like even like, I think it was last year, when I was in marketing 301, like I was working on my project and you looked at it like, you're like, oh no, that font's awful. And I'm like, that didn't even cross my mind when I made it.
Yeah, usually the first thing I always look at in a design is the font good? I'm very much a font snob. I will say that for sure. Like if a font is bad, I will tell you, and I will tell you to fix it. I'm very big on that. Because I think fonts are one of those things I think people will their brains will turn off immediately if they don't like it. Because it's like, ew, I can't read this. Because those are the things you're reading. Like at least with colors, you can kind of get over it. But fonts that's the actual message you're trying to get across through the type. So if the font is bad, you're not going to waste your time reading it. So especially if it's for a project, you want to make sure you're really getting the point across of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. It's something I start to think about now when making these graphics, at least for the podcast, because that's usually the extent of my Canva designs, just for the podcast.
No, yeah, I would say for the podcast, you guys are very strong with branding. That's something I'm also very big on. Something we try to keep with MSL is having the same fonts we use. Like even for our meetings, we have the same meeting template we use every time. So I love consistent branding. It makes me very happy when I see that from brands. So I think that's something your podcast does very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but with your marketing and fan experience internship, can you go more into like what you typically do, or dare I say a day-to-day of a marketing and fan experience intern?
The famous question. So yeah, honestly, it's really funny you asked that, just because I wouldn't say there is a set day-to-day of being a marketing fan experience intern. Basically what my game days look like for, let's say, hockey, for example, I'll show up for report time. Typically, it's always an hour or an hour and a half before gates open. That's something a lot of people don't think about, I think, is how much earlier we actually show up. Some jobs show up even earlier. Like I know Glazer for operations, like they show up even earlier, because especially for football, because they have to put all the gates out. Like there's so many other jobs like you don't think about how early they actually show up, because they have to be there before the team gets there. But for me, I usually show up between an hour to an hour and a half from gates open. I get told my report time beforehand. And we go to the marketing office, and then we get our assignments. So it's kind of like, if you think of like a group project, it's like everybody gets a certain kind of task so that we can kind of complete one project, which is the game. So for example, last game I was doing lights. So then I go to my spot, and then we all get scripts. So we kind of know what the flow of the game is. That's made by our bosses. So we get a flow of how the game's going to go. So when there's a timeout, what are we doing? Is the PA announcer talking? Is Emma, the MC host, speaking? Are we having lights? Is the lights off? Are the lights on? Are we having music? Is there visuals on the board? Who needs to be there at that time? Who's having headsets? Like, was the mascot going to be there? Do we need to pull people? Do we need cameras? There's so many things you don't think about. That's just for one spot. Like literally one part of a 3-hour game is one specific thing. So yeah, every game is very different. I've been a mascot handler, which sometimes we call like their security. Like it's usually funny. It's always the person that's just like following around the mascot, because the mascot like can't really see that well. So mascot handler, an arena host, follower. I've been a PA spotter for football, so I've gotten to sit up in the press box and get to tell the person that's going to announce everybody who tackled the person and who had the carry, that was really fun. That was one of my favorite jobs I ever got to do. And then I've been a PA announcer. I've run music. I've done lights for hockey. I've done wireless camera operator, like following the wireless camera person around. Sorry, assistant, I meant. But yeah, I definitely have not done a wireless camera. I'm not that cool, but I've gotten to follow around the wireless camera to make sure they were out of their spots. So to answer your question, there is no typical day to day. It's the only thing that's consistent is that you show up at the office and you'll find out what you get, and then you kind of just have to roll with it.
Wow.
Every day is very different.
That's a lot. That's more than I thought like happened with marketing too.
Yeah, I mean, for those games, it's different. When I'm a PA announcer, those are more like, I would say, like, I know what I'm getting into for a typical game day. So, like, for men's soccer, for example, what I've been doing, I show up usually an hour beforehand my report time. I get my script. I always make sure to check it over to make sure if there's any mistakes or whatever, because sometimes it gets confusing between Minute Man and Minute Woman. You wouldn't realize how many times it, like, sometimes will just autocorrect. So I check it over, and then I have to wait for the rosters. The rosters is the most stressful part, is waiting for the rosters, because sometimes teams will get it in really early. Sometimes they get in really late. Luckily, our team, I know them, and I'll know, like, I'll be able to say it correctly, whether it's right before I have to do it or right after. But the other team is more stressful. When they get it in early, I feel it's like a big weight just like off my shoulders when I know that they get it in on time. But other than that, then I do the intros, which is definitely the most fun part of men's soccer, because during the game, I don't call anything unless there's subs, yellow card, red card, or goals. Goals are so fun, though. Yeah. When we score a goal, we just started this year that I do a long goal scream. So I do it as long as I can until we get who scored. And then I'm like, Massachusetts goal scored by number, blah, blah, blah. And I do that.
So we weren't doing that for this year?
No, goal scream. It's a brand new thing my boss brought to the table this year. And she wanted to implement it because she saw it at another school. And I don't know, we've gotten positive feedback so far. So I've gotten compliments from like the chancellor, like people.
Pretty good
our athletic director,
compliment.
Yeah, our athletic director. So I've been really happy so far with how it went. But that's more of like, I would definitely say with PA, I have more of a typical game day for that, because I know when I'm showing up, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's
or I guess it's like the difference between like an Olympic sport versus like a revenue sport.
Yeah, because for the Olympic sports, we only typically have, like, it's a PA announcer, someone's doing music, and then someone's either running a table or PA spotting me. So it's only really about 3 people running a game, versus for hockey, we have between 12 to 15 people. Yeah. That's a lot more. That doesn't even include our bosses that are there. So we usually have like 3 bosses that are there too, for like a hockey game, a men's basketball game, women's basketball, or for football. So those are very differently run, just because of just the size of where we're playing versus like soccer is very different. So yeah.
All right, great to hear. So I want to circle back to your summer internship, Morris Elite Soccer Club. Yeah. Was there a particular event or match that kind of stood out to you when you were working there?
Yeah, I mean, working at Morris Elite was really, really fun. I've never been the biggest soccer person before. Honestly, coming to college, like, I'm getting to, as I said, be a men's soccer PA announcer and work soccer last year. Never really thought I would end up working in soccer, but now that's become kind of like my thing lately. I don't know. It's just become my thing lately, and I've really enjoyed it. I would definitely say, so I was a marketing manager specifically, where we honestly came up with a lot of fan experience initiatives, also did email campaigns and things like that. So I got to work with all the other interns and come up with ideas. I had a co-manager as well. And one initiative we kind of came up with as a team was doing like a kid VIP thing, where they had these little passes and they got little stars on it. And if you had like a little pass and you were a kid, you got to do like walkouts with the team. So we had one specific day, which is called Morris Elite Day, because it's the club itself. It's kind of like a pyramid in a way. So it's like there's the top teams and then the lower teams that they have. So they have Morris Elite Day, where all the kids come from the club itself, like that play on the younger teams. And they come and just have a fun day watching the team. So we got to do walkouts with them. And the kids were so excited. They were so cute, like getting to watch them go out. And I don't know, and that was the first game day I got to work. So it kind of set the tone for me, like really, and I was really happy. And I was like, oh, like these are the experiences we want to be able to give to kids. So that inspired us to do even more like kid fan experience initiatives that all were very successful. We were able to give out a jersey, like a signed jersey from all the players, to the kid that had the most like stars on their little pass. So like when went to the most amount of games.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it was really fun.
Wow.
But that was probably the moment that I know it's not a specific match, but that was probably the moment that stood out to me the most, was getting to do the walkouts with the kids. It's just, those are like the little things that are like, wow, this is why I do what I do. And it makes it really fun.
That sounds like kind of like makes it worth it in a way.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it really makes like the hard work, and like, I worked for free this past summer, but like those little moments like make it worth it. And like, I know what I want to do, and I know I really want to work in marketing and fan experience. And those little experiences are why I do what I do, why I get up in the morning and go work for UMass Athletics. And I go worked for Morris Elite this past summer, and I love it so much. And that's why I love being a sport major.
And a marketing major.
And a marketing major. Yeah. I kind of combined the two and made it my own. So
pretty much. Yeah. All right. So one thing, I don't know if we brought this up. Last year, you were the co-director of marketing for the Pioneer Valley Tip-Off.
Oh yes, your last podcast guest.
Yeah, my last, the last episode. If you guys haven't watched it, check it out.
Yes, check it out.
Plug in the old episode.
Jack and Lucas are amazing. Definitely check it out.
So yeah, was there like, or let me phrase it this way: how did being the co-director of marketing for the Pioneer Valley Tip-Off kind of help you gain sport marketing experience more than you've already gained?
Honestly, it truly was amazing getting to do it. I'm so grateful I got that experience. Wade was an amazing mentor to me with that, because I had gotten assigned when I was a game day ops member. All the game day ops members kind of get like little jobs. You get to do like specific teams you get to follow. And one of my days of that, for 4 games that Friday of when I was game day ops member my freshman year, I got to be his personal assistant for fan experience. And that's when I was like, whoa, I really want to be director. And I found out Wade was going to be moving up to be executive director. Like, he kind of had the spot in the bag. So I was like, oh, like maybe hypothetically they'll want somebody younger and I could step in and do it. I applied and I got the spot, and truly every interview I have, they always ask me about it, because it's just something so cool that a lot of people don't like. No real other schools have opportunities like this, where it's a fully student run event. We have 20 teams, 1,700 people come. And honestly, it was an amazing experience. I got to plan like the first ever halftime show. Like we had Hooper James. That was really cool. I had anthem singers. We had doo-wop shop come. We had games. I ran a team of about 8 people, and it was really an amazing experience. I know I've said amazing experience like 10 times, but I truly loved it. It was something I will never forget. And I think it's honestly helped me the most with sport marketing, is because I've always, before, like usually, because when you're kind of starting out, when I'm just like an intern, I'm mostly being like told about ideas that were already set. So like you're like, oh, like today's theme day is this, and then I execute. I'm the executor. Like, I'm the one executing all these things that were already pre-decided. But this is my first time I was actually getting to be on the floor making decisions that were going to be implemented. Like, I was the one deciding who was going to do the halftime show. I was deciding what music we should play. Those are things I hadn't had the opportunity to do yet. And that's something I'm able to tell somebody in an interview. Like, I wrote the scripts and I made decisions. And that's something not a lot of kids can say in college, that they got to make the decisions and get to do that. So yeah, I would say if you're a student at UMass and you haven't worked it, you definitely should sign up. It's great. And it was truly I'm so grateful for Wade and Gianna and everybody on that team that helped make that a big success. So.
Well, so I think because I've worked it obviously the past 2 years.
Mr. Former Broadcasting Director.
Former co-director of Communications Broadcasting. I think one of the other underrated things is like it kind of throws you into the fire of like a
1,000%
in-game like situation. Because obviously I don't want to say nothing. That's overblowing it. But not everything goes to plan.
Oh, yeah.
And so, having to think on your feet, especially with things that you set up in the first place, it's a very good experience. And like, even now, I've just started my new internship with UMass Athletics Broadcasting.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. Like that, like PBTO has helped me so much, like just pick up everything that they've asked me to do so far.
No, yeah, definitely. We had things that went wrong. Not everything was perfect. Like, I remember the first performance Hooper did, his music, the sound, he couldn't hear that well during the first thing. I wanted to like freak out. I was so like stressed out about it already. But I was like, okay, like I had to tell myself like, okay, like you're the leader, you're in charge, and like everybody's gonna act on based how you act. So if I act freaked out, then everybody else is gonna be freaked out and look like chickens with their head cut off. So I was like, I need to stay composed and, be a good leader that like they need to see. So it truly, as a sophomore, like I would say a lot of kids can say that as a sophomore, they ran a big basketball tournament in that capacity. So I think that I would definitely agree that like getting thrown in the fire, because it's truly the experiential learning that MSL brings is what like sets us apart and allows kids to have the best resumes they can when they leave college. So
Yeah. So with all these roles that we've brought up, all these jobs you've worked in are currently working, how do you balance your responsibilities basically between MSL, your internship, and schoolwork?
Yeah, I'm also in a sorority. Shout out Tri Sigma. But yeah, so honestly, I've always been very big on like what if I care enough about something, I will make time for it and I will make it happen. And schools always come first to me. It's very big in my family, education and going to college, and schools always come first for me no matter what I do. So I've always made sure to make school a priority. And sometimes if I'm like, hey, I can't go to this meeting, like, James, can you go to this meeting for me? I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned is sometimes just being willing to speak up and be like, hey, like I need a second. Like I fractured my foot 2 weeks ago. I was like, hey, I can't go to this meeting this week. I have to go to the doctor. Like sometimes you just have to understand yourself and know when to take a step back. But also if I'm signing up for something, I'm always going to give my 110%. And that's something I always ask myself before I signed up to be MSL Vice President. I was like, hey, am I going to be able to give my 110% to this? And I knew I could do it. And that's why I signed up. And that's why I think people voted for me and it allowed me to win, was because people knew I was going to give my 110%. And I give my 110% to my internship and I give my 110% to my schoolwork. So, but obviously school always comes first to me. And I make sure that always stays at the front of my mind is like getting my schoolwork done. And then that allows me to then, because if my schoolwork's not good, then it doesn't allow me to be my best self in other things. Because then if I'm stressed out about school, then I'm not going to do well at an MSL meeting. I'm going to be too stressed. Or my internship, I'm going to be thinking about it the whole time and not focus. So it's really like, that's kind of like the first domino. If that starts to fall, then everything else I know will fall for me. So I don't believe though in work-life balance. I'm one of those people that's like, I think it's a myth because like sometimes some things got to give, and sometimes I need to spend extra time on my work and stay up late and do that and maybe lose a little bit extra sleep to make sure that my homework gets done. And like, that's okay because I love everything I do. And again, that's what gets me up in the morning is knowing I love MSL and I love my internship and I love being vice president and I love being at UMass and I love being a marketing and sport manager. Like these are all things I love and it allows me to keep going. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that completely did.
But I find time.
Yeah. You're sacrificing sleep for work. I sacrifice sleep to watch the Dodgers win in 18 innings.
I mean, I think it's worth it, though. I think it's worth it. I mean, the Freddie Freeman walk-off, I think that made it worth it for you.
Yeah, I was half awake for it, but...
You're like, what's going on?
I mean, because at that point, like, there was like 3 other Dodgers hits too that like looked like they were gone when it went off the bat. And so by that point, I'm like, is this even a home run or is this another pop fly that
like, is he gonna catch it? Like, I know he's gonna climb this wall somehow and magically catch it. Like, Of course, because it's the 18th inning. Of course, it's gonna happen.
So back to your role as vice president for MSL. What are some challenges that you have faced so far in your role?
I think the biggest challenge for me was dealing with imposter syndrome. Honestly, I think knowing coming in that I was going to be younger than the typical vice president, I think that got in my head a lot, being like, oh, like, are people going to respect me? And I had like people, I think sometimes like people were in my ear being like, oh, like, you got to be careful with that. Like, make sure they don't take advantage of you and make sure you stay respected. And I think that just got in my head a little bit. I was kind of down on myself at first, like when I first started, being like, oh, like people, just the idea of not having respect. And that was something that stressed me out a lot before coming back to school. Like in January, because we do our elections late and then you kind of come into your role officially January 1st, like, congratulations, you're vice president. And I was like, whoa, like, can I actually do this? I dealt with that a lot. And I will be totally honest about that imposter syndrome is very real. And I was very stressed out about whether I was good enough to be vice president, whether I could do it. And that was something I had to personally overcome and realize, like, people elected you for a reason. People put you in this position for a reason. People believe in you, so you just have to believe in yourself. So I'd probably say that was the biggest challenge for me coming into the role.
Yeah. I mean, is it still affecting you now in a way, or
honestly, no. I feel like once we kind of got rolling and I was like, wow, like things are really working out. Like people do what I say, like, which sounds really stupid because it's like, oh, you're vice president. But like, honestly, a title is just a title. Like if people don't want to do what you say, then they won't. But it's the whole idea about respect. And I feel like I've gained a lot of people's respect, and I take that with a lot of gratefulness that people respect me. And I feel like I've been able to overcome that. So that's probably my biggest challenge, but also the biggest thing that one of the biggest things that's helped me grow is learning how to trust in myself and have confidence in what I'm doing.
Wow. Yeah. It's great to hear, honestly, that you've kind of, got through it, pushed through.
Yeah, I know it's something a lot of people deal with. They just don't talk about, and that's why I'm very open to talking about it. Just because I know I probably am not. I know I'm not the first person to have ever gotten a job and be like, oh, am I good enough for this? Like, am I worthy enough to have this job? And that was something I definitely dealt with a lot. Was kind of knowing like, oh, because I'm not older, like, should I even have this job? Like, but I think it's what I've made with it. And I feel like sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it. So I was like, the first meeting, I was like, I'm going to stand in the front. I'm going to press the buttons for the PowerPoint and I'm just going to be vice president. And that's it. And I was like, you just got to believe you're vice president. And I was vice president. So I still am vice president. No, I know. So I think that's helped me grow a lot, is just being able to believe in myself more and like believing in myself as a leader. Because I didn't see myself I was nervous that I wasn't going to be a good enough leader. And I feel like I have been personally. So that's helped me a lot.
All right. So you just touched on this.
No, yeah, sorry.
But you mentioned believing in yourself being one of the ways you've grown in your role. Is there anything else that you feel like your role as vice president has helped you grow both personally and or professionally?
I think definitely on the professional standpoint, like I mentioned, just being a leader and delegating is one of the toughest things in the entire world. Like I was always so big on micromanaging, and like every group project I did, like I would just want to do everything because I was always so afraid of like, oh, what if somebody else messes up? And I kind of learned, like, again, going back to the idea of balancing your responsibilities, I can't balance everything if I'm trying to micromanage and do everything. So I learned like it's okay to not have to have your hands in every pot. And that's what I think, the higher you get up, the less you do. What I've learned is like when I was doing graphic design, I was in charge of all the graphic designs. I was like on there, like on the Canva, touching everything, making sure everything looked great. And sometimes it's easier to manage a task than manage people, I've learned. And that was something Gianna was always so good at. And I would ask her all the time, being like, how are you so good at just managing people's personalities and making sure that everybody gets things done? And that was always one of her strong suits. And that's something I think I've grown the most professionally, is learning how to delegate properly and learning how to let some of it, like take some of the baggage off and like put it on other people. And because that's what they're there for. That's what the E-board's there for. That's what the G-board's there for. That's what board of directors is there for. They're there to do their job. So sometimes you just gotta let them do their jobs and trust that it will get done. So I love being able to be vice president and like make sure everything's still happening. But it's something that was hard for me at first, was being like, just trusting in the fact it's going to get done. And
yeah,
luckily everybody has been amazing and has done a great job, so it's made it a lot less difficult. But that was something that was tough for me at first, because I was never used to that. I was used to just managing my little task and getting it done, and then it was over. Not managing a whole club of people.
Just like being in charge of like yourself and what you had to do.
Yeah, because it was just like me and
switch.
Ben. Yeah, it was just me and Ben, because Ben was marketing. It was just us in our little bubble, making sure everything got done. I wasn't sitting in on e-board meetings. Like I would, as I was G-board, like it was a totally different world to what I'm in now. Now I'm sitting at the front of an e-board meeting, telling people what I want and and trying to be like, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, and trusting that they'll do it. So I feel like that's probably been the biggest thing professionally I've learned and gotten way better at, and something I will definitely take with the rest of my life.
I think that's something like I've also improved on, like since
Definitely,
moving
yeah.
up in the executive board. Because like obviously I have my G board members, which are the social chairs, and when we first started on this executive board, like I would handle most, if not everything, at least like in that first couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, my G board actually I have not given my G board like a lot to do so far.
No, yeah.
And so it was kind of just a process of like, okay, I can split the tasks up this way where I do this and then they do that. And so once I started learning that, like you mentioned, it just becomes easier and easier.
No, yeah, I remember that was a conversation. Like sometimes you just have to have an honest conversation and realize like, hey, like maybe I do need to take a step back. And I think that was something you did well at, was understanding like, oh, they can make a Google form. Like a lot, like even if it's the small things, like, oh, like they could order the pizza, like they could go get chips. Like you don't have to put so much on yourself, because we do feel this responsibility because we're like, oh, it's our club. Like this is like, I'm club relations, or like, oh, I'm in charge of MSL. Like even like it feels like a lot, and you're like, you don't want it to get messed up, but sometimes it's good. Like, hey, these people are here to support you. Like you're here to support me when we have an event. Like Ashley as sales summit director, she was amazing. Like I was there to support her in that case, and sometimes it's all just about supporting and working as a team. So I think just having those honest conversations is really important when you have a team. So.
Yeah. All right. Final question.
Oh gosh.
A big one too. What's one piece of advice you'd give to your freshman year self?
Wow. Freshman year Lindsay was so different back then. I think if freshman year Lindsay looked at me now, she would be shocked at all the stuff I've done. But I'd probably say the biggest advice I would give myself is to, like the idea I said before, like just believe in yourself. I think I did not have a lot of confidence back then. I probably wouldn't have believed that I would have been vice president as a sophomore in college and had gotten an internship by my freshman year. I had a lot of grand ideas. I just didn't think they were ever going to happen. I didn't believe a lot of things were going to happen for me. And even though I was like, oh, yay, like I'm going to Eisenberg, like I'm in sport, awesome, yay. I was like, eventually things would work out. And I think as things started to work out, I started believing a little bit more and a little bit more. So I think if I believed in myself earlier, I think I generally would have just been a lot happier. And like, I think having confidence is so important, like in yourself. And I think that's something I wish freshman year me knew more. And because me now is very grateful that I'm a lot more confident. I did not grow up as a confident person. I would tear myself down. I was not, like, honestly, I wouldn't just be very happy in myself. So I think the confidence I've built up, especially over college, that's probably been the biggest change I've had. So biggest freshman year self-advice, just believe in yourself and be confident in yourself. I think it's very important.
The hardest thing about it, though, is it's always easier said than done, though.
No, yes. I've always said I'm other people's best therapist, but I can never, my mom always tells me, she's like, what if you were telling your friend this, what would you tell them? Like, sometimes it's good to just take a step back. And that's one of the biggest things I think my mom's helped me with, is she'll be like, oh, like, would you tell your friend that? Like, would you be that mean to your friend? And I'm always like, no, of course not. And she's like, well, then why are you saying that to yourself? Like, be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself. And I think that's the one piece of advice I'd definitely give. Believe in yourself, be confident, and just be nice to yourself, because we make mistakes and people are people. But I think if you believe in yourself and you're kind to yourself, you could get a lot more accomplished. So that's probably what I would say.
It also probably helps, like, once, like, you move on from, like, freshman year, you're sophomore, now junior year, you know more people.
Yes.
You're more familiar with the campus. That's that's stuff, like, I've gone through, like, getting more familiar with everything has helped me, like, be more confident, I guess.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say anybody really coming in freshman year is like confident in general, because we're all so nervous, like want to make friends. I was like, I have no friends. I literally came from New Jersey. I don't know if I even mentioned that. I'm an out-of-state student. I didn't know anybody coming here. I didn't know one person coming here. And I was very nervous. And like, that's okay. It's okay to be nervous, but I think it's good to be more confident. Like, I'm Lindsay Harrington. Like, I'm a nice person. Like, that's okay. Like, it's okay to be happy with yourself and believe that, like, hey, like, I'll figure it out, you know? And I think that's something I wish I would have been nicer to myself. And like, sometimes I was really mean, and I wish I wasn't, because everything honestly worked out. And I'm sitting here as vice president now talking to you, and you're one of my friends. And I would say things worked out
on the MSL podcast.
On the MSL podcast, or I made the logo for it. Like, you know, I would say things worked out. So I think just being kinder to myself and being more confident that things would work out. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the episode or the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah, of course. So for our viewers out there, you can always catch us on YouTube or Spotify. Every new episode is uploaded to both services at the same time. Check us out on Instagram. It's MSL_podcast. Also, we'll be promoting the TikTok soon. We'll be porting over the clips I have on Instagram onto TikTok, and then we'll be posting both to both Instagram and TikTok for every episode, every clip we get from the episodes. This was Lindsay Harrington. I'm Jace McCormick, and thank you guys for watching.